Hello everyone and welcome to Driver's Therapy. In today's video, we're going to be showing you this really cool engine light kit that I found on Amazon. We're going to be showing you how to install it. I'm going to give you a couple tips and some advice and a couple warnings. All right guys, let's go ahead and get started. So this is the kit that I found on Amazon and we're going to look at it up close and we're going to talk about a few things. So the kit is pretty simple. It came with this light bar, the harness, a switch, and some instructions. But I'm pretty sure this was made in China because you have your typical instructions that have funny phrases like automatic switch install on metal half hole. But I'm actually quite excited though, because when you look at the actual LED, it's encased in some type of epoxy, which is good. And of course, they're LEDs. There's some adhesive in the back, and the epoxy seems to be pretty thick. And the reason why I think that's going to be really important for the NSX installation is because this is going to go directly in the engine bay. Of course, all engine bays are hot, but this is going to be hovering right over it, and we just want to make sure that it stays durable. Now, I did a dry test fit and install to make sure that it worked, and when I was doing it, one of the leads came off. So I could tell you right away that I had to replace this with my own connector, and it works fine, but essentially it's not going to be the highest grade of wiring, but I think it's going to do the job. And it does have a small little fuse, and it looks like it's a little 5 amp fuse, so that's good. And it actually looks like a really nice case setup, so I like that. And it came with this switch, so essentially this is going to be for the power, this one right here, of course the red, and this is going to be the ground, and this is the switch, the on and off switch that you see in a lot of alarm setups and a lot of setups with lighting. Essentially what happens is when the hood or whatever you're trying to use as the open and close trigger, this is going to be what's going to activate the light. So that's where I did a lot of research on the NSX to make sure that we have a neat but not messy install. So go ahead and follow me and I'll show you. So we typically don't do these safety disclaimers for certain stuff that we do, but this is going to be one of those that you want to be careful with. These kits are a little janky, they don't have the best materials, and sometimes they're not built the best. So you just want to be careful and you want to make sure that your installation is correct, that you check everything, because you're dealing with electrical stuff and you don't want to damage your car or hurt yourself. If you have any questions, ask a professional, because there are risks for electrical shock, for fire, and other things like that. So just be careful because you're dealing with the engine bay and electrical components. So when I first got this light kit, I wanted to ask one of my family members who's an electrical engineer and ask him if it's actually a safe kind of design and circuit. And we saw that the fuse that the kit came with is on the negative side, and that really is not going to help out if there's a short on the positive side. So what we did is we went to O'Reilly's and we bought an inline fuse. It's a wire with the fuse adapter, and essentially you can switch out this fuse to put whatever amperage or fuse you need for your circuit. And in this situation, this is a 12 volt DC powered light that uses 5 watts of power. So after we did the math, we found out that it's about a half an amperage. So a 1 or 2 amp circuit fuse will actually be perfect for it. So that's what we got. They were out of 1 amp, so we have a 2 amp. And to kind of help you understand it a little bit better, if we would have hooked it up to the 40 amp defrost circuit and left it alone, if it shorted out, it wouldn't have blown the fuse till some serious issues would have occurred and potentially some major electrical problems would have happened. So this is going to prevent that. I'm really excited. So let's go ahead and hook it up. And now we have fuses to protect both the negative and positive side. First off, I am not drilling into my NSX. So I was pulling my hair, and essentially this switch needs a ground. But I wanted to use this, and I wanted to see if we could use the whole kit without actually having to drill. And I got super lucky because there was a little grommet right here, guys, that goes whenever the engine cover goes on top of it, it lays on top of it. I used this tool to pull it up, and I finally was able to get it out. It was not easy, but I did. And then once I got it out, believe it or not, I test fitted this, tried it out, and it was perfect. So that's what we're actually gonna do right now. We're gonna go ahead and set all this up, and you're gonna see how it actually all works perfectly whenever you lay the engine lid down and it turns on and off when it's supposed to. So the first thing I did is I found a black washer in just my hardware bin, and I'm gonna be using that. And what I'm gonna be using it for is to make sure that the switch sits in there correctly. And then I got a lock washer and another nut from the kit itself. And what I'm gonna do first is I'm actually gonna start these first. So I'm gonna go underneath here, pull it up, and I'm actually gonna turn this whole thing just to get it started so it doesn't fall. And then before I go all the way down, I'm gonna grab my connector, my ground connector, and I'm gonna connect it. But this time around, I'm gonna do so where the wires are not messy. So I'm gonna go ahead and peel this back, and I'm gonna route it back as much as I can. Just tucking it back, and you could do it as any way you wanna do it. And then this is the tricky part right here, guys. Let's see, I'm gonna get my headlamp so you guys can see this. You essentially have to put the switch at an angle and gently connect it. Once it's connected, then you could go back to going straight. I'm going down until it makes contact. At that point in time, I'm gonna get a quick tool, but as you can see, it's on, but check this out, guys. Off, on. Okay, so the adhesive does not work on this felt, but at least came up with a pretty genius idea. So essentially what we did is, if you look over here, we used a paper clip to kind of hook ourselves on the other edge, right? Just like this. And then we're gonna use the rubber as to hold down the paper clip and on a ledge. And then we're simply gonna move this over like that, hook it in, and then we're just gonna move the paper clip up. Kind of have to work it, if that makes sense. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and tuck our wire underneath this weather strip. Very common practice for like radio installs and all that. But that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna slowly work this up and stick our wire under there for a cleaner install. Okay, we got everything installed and hooked in there, but we'll let you guys be the judge. Are you ready? All right, we're lifting it up. No light, light. Look at that, but check this out. Make sure you look at this area here. When we put it down, the light comes off. And there you go, guys. This gives the engine bay a little bit of more light so you can see it, work on it. And this is the best thing we could think of, but you guys are really smart out there. If you guys have a better idea, let me know, but I think that came out really cool. And there you go, guys. I think it looks really neat. And like I said, you want to be careful. You just want to make sure you know what you're doing. You're working with electrical stuff and that you're just following instructions or asking a professional if you need help. Well, guys, I'm going to put the link to this kit in the description. It's an Amazon affiliate link. So if you buy one, then we get a little bit of help for the channel, for some support. And we also thank you for watching and hope you guys have a happy holidays. All right, guys. Bye.